All right. Hello, first stream. Okay. We're gonna have some first stream difficulties, of course, but just checking in, making sure everything's working. Everything's looking good. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, welcome to Working Title. My name is Tremonti Hawkins. This is a show where we will make short films live. We will make movies in public. We're showing you everything in real time, all the problems, all of the decisions, all the mistakes. You'll see it all. A lot of filmmaking resources out there are either too high level or too granular, too specific. And they either tell you how to make how master filmmakers made their masterpieces, or they tell you how to set up a couple of cheap lights to get a decent look on camera or something like that. So this show, Working Title, is here to bridge that gap. It's here to show you how everything is connected and how to put everything together step by step in a way that is actionable, that you guys can use in your own projects and make them real, make them come to life. I've been working in the film industry, for the past 5 years. I've produced music videos for high profile artists. I've produced 4 feature films, 2 of which I wrote and directed, and I'm working on my 3rd right now. And yeah, this is the first stream, first show. So I want to say welcome to everybody that's here. Thank you for joining us. And for those in the future watching this, thanks for watching this. So if you have any questions along the way as we're going, feel free to ask them. That's what this space is here for. And I'll do my best to explain whatever I got going on. So everything you see here today is still a work in progress. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Obviously, the first step of making a short film is writing a short film, of course. So what we're gonna do, full disclosure, I have not I'm not starting from scratch. I do have an idea. Actually, let me get my background music going. The music you can't hear. Let me get in the vibe. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, you can't hear that, right? Cool. All right, just making sure. Just making sure. We good here. Go live here. We good here. Thanks, Tyler McLean, 6849. I appreciate it. Wonder who that could be. That's my wife. So okay. We're good to go. We're good to go. We're good to go. Interesting that doesn't show up there. But we're still troubleshooting. It's our first one. All right, so what I'm gonna start with here, guys. What we have here, usually, you would start with brainstorming an idea and coming up with an idea. But I started this whole journey. I'm gonna be making a series of short films, and I started this journey because I wanted to build my director's portfolio. As a director, I have a lot of stuff as an editor, as a producer, but as a director, I don't have too much, that really shows what I feel like is the level of work that I can create. So that's the goal here, is to start making some portfolio pieces, maybe film festivals and stuff like that too, but mainly just want to work on the craft of filmmaking and show you guys the steps along the way. So first and foremost was brainstorming. So basically what I'm going to do here, I'm going to catch you up on what we've already done. So I went to my friend who I've wanted to be my DP for so long. and you'll get to meet him on this channel eventually. Um, and I was like, I told him, I want to start making some short films. I want him to be my DP. I want him to DP the stuff that the features that I make and all that stuff later. But I really want to just start get our workflow going. So me and him were brainstorming together and bouncing ideas off each other. So the way this started, we were just talking back and forth, and we were like, okay, what should we write about? And it's a short film. I usually don't like writing short films because I feel like they're too short. Like I like to tell longer stories. Excuse me. I like to tell longer stories because I feel like you can get deeper into things. Um, you can get deeper into like the human experience of something. And I feel like a short film can be too short, but I wanted to see if I could like crack this code and see what we could do. So one of the cool ways to think about making a short film is to focus on like one singular emotion. Like what's the emotion that we want to convey, that we want the audience to feel, really. If we want the audience to feel a certain emotion. How, what is that emotion that we want the audience to feel? And so we were just like going through things and something that we could tell in like bite-sized things. Something 5 minutes to 10 minutes, no more than 10 minutes, ideally. So the first thing, we came up with was like watching someone fail, potentially just like watching someone try something over and over and over, and they just can't get it right. Um, it can also be good for short films for them to be smaller stories, obviously, like micro stories. So it's like, what if it's just someone's trying to do something and they're failing, but then we finally either see them get it, or maybe we just see like an inkling that like, oh, they might figure it out, or they get one little win that's like, oh, okay, I understand this now, or something like that. So we started there. It's like the origin of an origin story. Maybe someone keeps failing over and over. It's almost a 5-minute montage, and they don't succeed. They don't succeed at the end, but glimmer of hope. They won't give up. And these are like, this is how I like took down brainstorming notes. I wish, and you'll see this in the future when we are doing the next shorts and stuff. We'll bring you in on the brainstorming phase. But I wish I had recorded like our conversation because it's so much more than what I wrote down here. But so glimmer of hope, get up one more time. We know they won't give up. It's worth more because of the struggle. They're successful in something that isn't meaningful to them. Yeah. So we were like, okay, what if they're already successful somewhere else, but it's somewhere that they don't love being in? Like, for example, I used to run track and I would run the 400 as a sprinter. As a sprinter, if you're a sprinter, 400 is the worst race that you can run because it's technically a sprint and it's one lap around the track. So you have to run all out pretty much for a full lap. That's a quarter of a mile, and it's the worst race. You're just dead at the end of that. So we sorry, that's where it identified with me. Another thing when you're writing shorts or when you're writing anything, as the writer, you have to connect to it personally somehow, somewhere, or else you're not conveying something true. I feel something true to yourself, something true that you felt. If you've never felt it, how can you get someone else to feel it? And it doesn't have to be specific. All as humans, we've felt a range of emotions, so that allows us to have empathy to connect with other people, even if we've never been in their specific situation. And that's the beauty of storytelling. We can tell a story of a situation you've never been in or could never be in, but you can still connect with those characters because you can feel the feelings that you felt before that they're now feeling if it's told well. So they're successful in something that wasn't meaningful to them. I hated running track, but I was so good at it. I wasn't the best, but I was very good at it without much practice. And my senior year, I was just like, you know what? I don't like it. I don't want to run track anymore. I'm gonna play tennis. A game I had, I had tennis. I had lessons when I was a kid, but never really played, and I was really bad at that. But I learned over time, and I got better. And it was the most fun that I had playing sports, probably. Yeah, and I played a lot of sports. But anyway, so that's where I connected. So it was like maybe they're successful in something that wasn't meaningful to them. Most boring example, accountant. Maybe they're really good accountant. They hate being an accountant, but they're really good at it. They make a lot of money. They're getting really rewarded for this. But we were like, maybe they have another goal, same way I had tennis, where they want to try to get good at this other thing just for them, just because they want to do it, you know. Um, Hold on one sec. Let me plug my phone in because it's about to die. Thanks guys for following the page on Instagram. Appreciate it. Okay. So that's what we were thinking. And they're just keep on trying. And they're so successful in this other thing that they're just kind of like, yeah, maybe it'll just happen, but it doesn't because it's hard to do new things. So maybe we're seeing them be successful everyday lives, blah blah blah. And they're spending all their free time trying to perfect this one thing. They give up their safety to pursue something that society sees as less than. Maybe he takes his last 5 vacations. So this was a whole thing of like stakes and stuff. Where like maybe he takes his last 5 vacation days early into the year. He like takes off work to do this thing, and then he can't accomplish it before he has to go back to work. And maybe he he's super tired, can't focus. Essentially, he's giving up work, giving up, risking his job for this new thing. Kept going back and forth on that. uh we were thinking about whatever the new thing is, because we are like, what's this new thing? What makes them want to do this? What is it? Why do they really want to do this? And we were like, maybe it's something that connects to their childhood. They used to do, he grew up and life happened, and now it's being reignited or something like that. uh He wants nothing more than to reconnect with that child building Legos in his tiny apartment living room, or whatever that was. He goes after that. So now we kind of had like, okay, we kind of have a direction. We have somebody who's stuck, in a thing that they're really good at, being rewarded for, but not fulfilled in their life. And they want to do something that they truly enjoy, maybe reconnect with the previous version of themselves, something like that. So we're like, okay, maybe to kind of break through what the story could be, maybe it's the okay. Let's look at the passions. What could the passions be? You know, one of the first ones we thought about was becoming a pilot. My friend, the DP friend, had access to somebody who has a hangar or something like that. And so I was like, oh, what if he's trying to become a pilot? Now we were also like, with these short films, we want to make them manageable, make them something that we can make sure we make really well, so that we can both, learn the craft more and uh, put our best foot forward as far as the execution of it. So we were kind of like, flying a plane, meh, that might be tough to pull off right, and well. And like, how would we shoot that? And da 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 da. So becoming a pilot quickly got X'd out. Next was cooking, baking. Maybe there's a hole in the wall pizza place next to his house when he was a kid. It's not there anymore. Gets inspired to try to recreate the recipe. Can't get it for a long time, but finally does. And he brings it into work, shares it with the coworkers, and they hate it. He tastes it and he still likes it. Something just for him. Maybe it's pizza Fridays, his old job. So this one kind of turned into like a comedy of some sort. And so it was like, okay, possible direction. Here's a possible direction. You know. Another one was knitting or quilting. And we thought it would be cool if it's like somebody who doesn't look like they would be a knitter, but like it's like maybe they used to knit quilts with their grandma or something. Um, but uh, so this one was more of in the drama lane, tries to make it into a business. He's learning it, figures it out, tries to make it into a business. And this was a whole thing of like, okay, you have your passion and you have a business, kind of like, a lot of filmmakers want to make their, I'm guilty of this. My wife says this all the time, that all my hobbies I try to make into a job. Um, so this is like what he would be struggling with here is he has a passion, wants to do this for the rest of his life, knitting, but he can't sell his products because no one wants them. And he learns that he shouldn't make his passion into a a business potentially. Um, that was another idea. That one was cool, and it was like knitting. The way we can shoot that too, like we're thinking about the cinematography because I was talking to a DP, uh, which DP is director of photography. If you don't know that, but we're talking about how we can shoot it, and it's like, oh yeah, with the knitting needles, it'd be cool. You can get really close and da da da. But then, yeah, it was like that's an idea. This was probably our second best idea. We were between this and the next one. So the next one is the one we ended up choosing actually. So then it was we went through welding just because I thought welding was really visually interesting. Um, but the thing is that you would need like a lot of you would need like a studio, you would need them to be able to get into a studio somehow, stuff like that. So welding, and we wanted it to be something that's like they can do quietly on their own, and welding didn't really seem to fit that. Glass blowing was kind of the same. Glass blowing came up because that's interest of mine. I really want to learn glass blowing, and there are home glass blowing kits, and I thought that would be really cool to show on film as well. Um, but ultimately, it was like, feels like a little too much. Feels like forcing it. Um, and then there was woodworking, which was kind of the same problems as welding and glass blowing. So then we went to playing an instrument. Like playing an instrument, at first we were kind of like, that's kind of obvious. That's the obvious one. It's like you want to learn guitar, you want to play piano or whatever. But as we started talking through it, like I was really on it was funny too. I was really on the knitting one. Like I was pretty sold on the knitting one. And my DP friend just kept saying like, well, let's just keep, let's explore all the options that we can and let's just see, what else comes up. I just kept being like, okay, okay, okay. And on this one, it was like, okay, like, yeah, like it feels cliche, like to play, they want to learn to play an instrument or whatever. And it's like, I was really not about it for a long time. Not for a long time, but I was really not about it. But um, my friend was like, well, what would it be? Let's just go into it. Like, what could it be? What could that short film be? And we kind of started talking it out, and it's like, okay, well, they have a boring job. They walk, maybe they walk by a public piano every day, and maybe they just dream of playing the piano. So they start to learn, but they have huge stage fright. Maybe they're really shy. So they learn a song, go up to the piano. They're super nervous, sit down and start to play. As they do, they go into like this liminal space void thing. I like to add surreal elements to it. I can't remember if this was my idea or my friend's idea, but it's also I like to add surreal elements into the storytelling because I feel like it takes you into like the emotional space physically, and I feel like that's fun. And it can also hit you deeper. Um, it's like stuff like Get Out, where they'll go into like stuff like that, or even Soul. This is very similar to Soul, where they'll go into like the soul realm. Um, Anime has lots of different things that are like this. But I feel like it's an opportunity to get deeper into the character. Um, yeah, I just like it. So, liminal space, void, da da da. Playing lost in music. At the end, they come out of it, look around, and no one has stopped to listen. They just kept walking, except for maybe one kid, one person. Or they keep their eyes closed. The audience sees. We weren't really sure about the ending yet. As we kept talking about it, we started fleshing it out more and more, and we were like, okay, 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 this one could be cool. This one could be really cool. And then we were between this one and the knitting one, and I was like, we gotta make a choice. Like we gotta make a choice and go with it. Like I'm glad that way. Oh, I already told you we ended up going this one, but it was like we gotta choose one, go with it. Kept going back and forth, and it was just like I was watching both versions in my mind, and it was like the knitting one wasn't as put together, I felt like, as what we came up with for the music one. And so then we were just like, all right, yeah, music one, I can see it, I can see that, and I can see all the fun stuff that we can do with that. So that's what we went with. So we kept on brainstorming a little bit. As soon as she's ready to play, so maybe it was like okay, we need some type of conflict though. Like it can't just be. I mean, there is conflict, but like we need some type of like we need the structure. We need the all is lost moment. It's like what's that gonna be? And my friend was like, well, what if she's ready to play and she gets there and the piano's gone? And I was like, huh, okay, that's interesting. Like what happened to it? And he's like, we don't know. I'm like, all right, yeah. Like a lot of times too, I feel like in life, like when you're getting ready to do something that you feel is the right thing to do and it's the right time, like the devil or whoever will try to like stop you. And I also see that as in my mind, like, oh, that's something I should do, like, or I'm on the right track. Like I see that as a signal. And it's different from like if I feel like God is telling me to do something else or, stuff like that. But yeah. So piano disappears. And then I was like, okay, but then what happens? And he was like, I don't know. And then we were like talking about it, trying to figure it out for a second. And then I was like, well, what if she just goes home, grabs the piano that she bought from pawn shop or whatever, brings it brings it to the place, the spot, and then just plays. And I actually had another idea as I was talking about that because of the liminal space and because of the time of day. So it was like when she gets off work, in the montage, which will go back and forth. When she gets off of work, it'll be like nighttime, and so it'll be nighttime when she goes back and plays. And the liminal space right now is like a black void. And I was just thinking maybe, I mean, the idea that popped in my head was, what if instead of um, what if instead of uh sorry, that bot. Hmm. I don't know how to get rid of this. Sorry, guys. One sec. One sec. Let me just get rid of that bot. Boom. All right. So sorry. So the idea that I just had, and you'll hear this as we get there, but like when we're transitioning into the liminal space, it'll already be nighttime. I was thinking of it as like a day to night thing, but it'll already be nighttime. So I was like, it'll already be dark wherever it is. So maybe it can look like all the people are like disappearing at first, and then it's like she's alone, and then we cut out, and then she's in a different place, and then we realize like, oh, she's in this liminal space. And so instead of just like cutting to a liminal space or doing a wipe to it or something like that, it can like look like all the people are disappearing. Maybe as we're like wrapping around her and as we're wiping, it's like the background, like as we're wiping around her, the people in the background are like getting erased into darkness. That could be cool. Yeah. And like ideas just come up like that when we're talking, visualizing it. And that's the thing. Like when you're writing, yes, you're writing the words on the page, but we also were very intentional with this in that there is almost no dialogue in this, because we wanted to make it all visual storytelling. We wanted to like eliminate, different parts of it, so that we could focus on making the parts that we're using really well, really good. So even though we're writing words on a page, when you're thinking about it visually, you also see different things that you may want to write in there. That just will make the screenplay more interesting and will make the film at the end of the end product more interesting as well. So, do 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 do. So she puts her piano there, plays it, go into the other thing. Da, da, da. Okay. So opening montage is gonna be that uh we have her everyday life, which she's kind of just like stuck in this loop essentially. She's just like, phoning it in every day. She's good at her job or whatever, but there's not really any conflict. She's comfortable enough, but she's going through everyday life. And we're like, we need something to break her out of that. And my friend was like, what if it's like her birthday one day? And it was like, and she just has like this cupcake on her desk when she walks in, and she realizes like, oh snap, I just turned whatever she turned. I just turned 30. Whoa. And that is what causes her to like look up at her life and be like, is this really where I want to be? But she doesn't really know like where she does want to be yet. So then she goes out to lunch and sits by where this piano is, and she just like looking at the piano, just kind of like thinking, eating the cupcake, and then we cut to she's in piano store. Originally it was gonna be music store, but now I think pawn shop makes more sense. Then she's in a pawn shop and she's like playing on the piano or something. And I got this. My little brother is a music producer. He'll be scoring this film actually. So you'll meet him too. But he used to have, it's his first keyboard. Actually, hold on. This is my little brother's first keyboard. Um, he hold on. Let me. There we go. This is my little brother's first keyboard. I think it's a full one too. No, it's not full. But I was at home for Thanksgiving, and it was sitting there, and I was like, "Ooh, can I use this for the short film?" And also, I remember when he got it, it has this like pitch bend. I'm like, move this thing all around. It has this pitch bend wheel right here. So it'll be like wee. And I thought maybe we could cut to her in the pawn shop. We could hear the sound like before we cut to her as she's like staring at it and like looking at it. And then we cut to her finger on the little thing. And then, cut out and we see her and all that stuff. So nice little like transition moment. That was a lot to just show you that keyboard. It's kind of heavy. So go there. Then she's home with the piano, and we'll. I feel like we can just jump into outline now, actually, because yeah. So we know this is the one. Piano. This is what she's trying to do. So after we finished brainstorming, this was all in the brainstorm phase, and we were talking. We came up with all this stuff together. So then I was like, okay, well, let's go home. Well, I was at home. I was on another job, and I had some downtime. And I was just thinking about the short film, and I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and make an outline. So in my process, usually I will do a brainstorm, and I called it Blue Sky because of the Duffer Brothers. Actually, I watched their master class, and one of the things that they would do is called a blue sky instead of a brainstorm, because a blue sky to them feels like, no roof. So it's like anything and everything that could possibly happen in this, whatever the project is, just write it down. Don't worry about anything. Just get it all down. All the ideas. Put them on the page. So, Blue Sky. Duffer Brothers are the guys that did Stranger Things, by the way. So then I was doing the outline on my own, and this is what I do next. I do the brainstorm or the blue sky, and then I do the outline. And so this is where I really start structuring the story into a story. And I use lots of different structure things. I do use the Save the Cat 3-act structure things loosely. But I do use that. And I use, what's going on here? There we go. Sorry. My music turned off. I use Save the Cat for like general structure, but also like the sequence approach, which is another book just called The Sequence Approach. And that is more like for a movie, it's like, and this is irrelevant to this. You don't, well, it's not irrelevant, but sequence approach is like every movie, if it's 2 hours, is broken into 15-minute sequences. First act is 2 sequences, second act is 4 sequences, and the third act is 2 sequences. But then there's a midpoint in the middle of the second sequence, so you have 2 sequences in the second act, midpoint, and then 2 more sequences. And those are just like nice ways to kind of be like, this is this sequence, this is what happens in this sequence, this happens in this sequence, and kind of just have different movements to your story. Because I feel like the Save the Cat structure is good from a top down, like I said, high angle view. But I feel like the sequence approach is a little more granular, and so I try to marry them together. So sorry, this music is a little bit loud. Okay. So so I was sitting there brainstorming on the outline specifically, and so I put it into structure. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to walk through the outline that I have, and then we'll go into the script writing software and actually start writing the script. But before we write the script, I'm going to talk a little bit about why we chose like these elements, and more so like the producibility of this short film. So let's get into it. So outline. So here I was just like brainstorming, like, what, how can it start? Like here we need specifics of the actions. Like we have the general things, but it's like, how's it actually going to play out together? And how does that feel? So I was like, we also decided it would be a woman. That just felt right. And my friend, who's a great actress, agreed to be in this. So you'll meet her as well. Meet all my friends. I think she starts at the keyboard in her office. That is like typing keyboard. She's typing with a certain rhythm, maybe in time with a clock on her wall ticking, something like that. Bored, doesn't even realize the rhythm she's working in. She sits back, takes a breath, not happy, drained from her job. Sits, looks over at the clock that's still ticking. There's a lot of work day to go. She sighs, goes back to typing. There's a Zoom call she hops on. Next, is nervous about speaking on it. She gets talked over, stays quiet. She goes on mute. It goes back to typing. And then the title. I don't think I like this anymore. And I'll probably, and this is the thing that happens too, like the outline changes as well. But oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. I'm jumping around a lot. I'm sorry. I do the outline and then I do character work. So I'll get deep into who the character is and all that stuff because the outline is kind of it's the same thing as like the outside looking in is the outline, inside looking out is the character work. So you want the story really to be generated from the character, but I think it's helpful for me to have the structure of an outline, even if it changes, and it always changes, um, so that I know where I'm going at least. Because if you don't have anywhere that you're going, then the character can meander forever, and then you're just watching a character be a character. So um, that can be fun sometimes for some people, but I like stories, so that's what I'm trying to do. Write a story. So I'll just go through this outline so you can see where I was at, and then go from there. And this was kind of a brainstorm of an outline as well. Yeah. Whew. All right, let's do it. So then the title. I don't know that I like that anymore. I think I might just start in on the montage and also feel like having a title at the end might be more impactful here. I also don't know what the title will be yet. It's tentatively called Keys right now. I don't like that title very much at all. So it's gonna change, but I don't have a better one right now. So there's a typing rhythm. She's typing, and maybe the rhythm of everything she does turns into a score. Which I'm a very musical person. I make music as well. I'm a rapper slash singer. So music and sound design and all that stuff is very important to me in storytelling, and I think it also helps immerse you into the story. So it was like maybe the rhythm of what she's doing, her daily routine turns into a score of some sort. It's very mechanical, very predictable, and very like yeah, rigid. So she's typing, blah blah blah. She leaves work, walks by the piano, rides the train, listening to news or talk radio, something mundane and dreary that talks about the state of the world. Maybe this is something. So this is where the character work comes in. This is where it's like I'm like, okay, for outline purposes, I need her to be listening to something mundane and dreary. I don't know what it is yet though. So that that's up to the character work. Once I know her as a character better, then I can be able to infuse that into the outline and be like, oh, she should be listening to this. So she gets home, shower runs, stares at her phone in bed, goes to sleep. Match cut morning, she wakes up, gets on the train, gets on the train, goes to work. She was driving at first, but now I remember the train. Uh, listens to Drury Radio podcast, walks by the piano, gets to her office, puts her lunch down next to her, gets to typing on the rhythm. Time passes, leaves work, pass piano, train, shower, doom scroll, sleep, wake up, train, pass piano, work, leave, pass piano, train, shower, doom scroll, sleep, wake up, train, pass piano, work, leaving, pass piano, train, shower, doom scroll, sleep, wake up, train, pass piano, etc. And you even heard the rhythm I had with that. It's like dun 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 dun, like just feeling like boom boom, um, just like I'm just like a zombie pretty much. She's just like a zombie, and uh, also now I feel like shower we don't necessarily need. For the shower stuff, I would just show like we would be outside. So I would just show like the door like to the bathroom. You just hear the but I thought the would be a good like audio cue, but it doesn't come back anywhere right now, so might not need it. We'll see. Um so then so also sequence approach wise, that would be first sequence, that opening montage. And it's like that montage is the sequence. It's like this is her work life. And then that sequence is ended by she gets into the office and there's a small cupcake and a card sitting on her desk. And she's like, huh. And she walks in, opens the card, says happy birthday in small letters. No one signed it. And it's like the blandest cupcake. And so then, she sits down and probably like thinks a little bit, like, takes a little bit more of a look around, and our score has stopped at this point. And then she's outside having lunch and her cupcake by the piano, which also, and now that I think about it too, I don't think we need, because I was thinking about adding her being at lunch in this montage. But I don't think we need it. She would eat lunch. We don't need to see that necessarily, but we'll see. Puts her lunch down by the cupcake. Oh, sorry. At lunch, sits by the piano and eats. She's just staring at the piano, takes a bite of the cupcake. She ponders. That's where we have the. And then, boom, we're in the pawn shop now. Messing with the keys on the piano. I was also thinking here it might be fun to, like, if she's just doing that. She's just, like, contemplating it. Like, should I do this? And then a guy, a worker there is like, because it's really annoying. It's a really annoying sound. And it's like, hey, like yells at her, and she like jumps and stops. And he's like, you gonna buy it or not? And then we see her at home with the piano, and then she sets it up. I just thought that'd be a nice way to like break it up or whatever. And also, I'm thinking character-wise, she's gonna be on the shyer side because that makes her playing the public piano even more of a risk. Because she's afraid to embarrass herself and there's all these people around and all that stuff. So that would be another way to just like show that, like a nice little character moment. I was also thinking the Zoom call would be a good character moment to do that too. But I'll have to see structure wise how that makes sense, or what makes sense rather. Okay. So so she gets home, sets up the piano, then she pulls up a YouTube video about how to play piano and tries to learn on her phone on the music stand, but it's like really, really small, which there's not a music stand on that thing. So that makes it even harder, actually. So it's like she's trying to like put up her phone, but she doesn't have anything. So she like puts it up against the wall. Like maybe she's like trying to do that. But even once she finds the book, it would still be difficult. So I don't know. We'll see. It could be cool if she makes some like makeshift thing, some type of makeshift something to hold the book up. But okay. So she's leaning in to try to see what's happening on the tiny screen, trying to follow along. She has to rewind the video, play it back, try again, not right, rewind, try again, better, but not right. Sits back, already frustrated, like, oh man, was this a bad idea? Was this a bad purchase? You can't return stuff to the pawn shop, you can only resell it. And then she remembers something. She gets up, goes to a closet, digs through some stuff, finds an old piano essentials book, and discovers flips through it, discovers some old sheet music in it, and she remembers what it is. I'm thinking that this is a song. I'm thinking that maybe her grandma used to play the piano, and like maybe taught her at one point, but she's forgotten now. And this is a song that her grandma wrote, like handwritten, like the notes and stuff. And the only way she can hear what it sounds like is to learn it. She can't look it up. Like she can't look up the song. And so this gives her even more inspiration to learn. And so, I forgot to record here. I knew I was forgetting something. That's okay. I can download the YouTube video. That's all right. Okay. Okay. We good. So, gives her more inspiration. You're the inspiration. So she sits at the piano, puts the book in front of her, takes a deep breath, starts to play. This is where string score comes in. So this is where we start montage number 2. So if you think about it, this right here is the start of the next sequence. So first sequence was opening montage. Second sequence is, her seeing the cupcake to deciding what she's gonna do about her life now. And she's gonna learn this piano. She tries it, it's not working, gets frustrated, finds another way, and then as she starts on the next journey, boom, next montage. So that's sequence 2. Now we're in sequence 3. Sequence 3 is starts to play, and we don't hear what she plays now, but we hear like score. And it's just strings at first, no piano. She plays into the night. Then she's on the train. She's listening to music now, which we can tell by how she's bobbing her head. We probably don't hear it this time because we're hearing score, but she's bobbing her head instead of listening to people talking. Past the piano, and she looks at it this time. Before she never really looked at it. Types at work, a little more haste, walks by the piano on the way home, rides the train, listening to music again, gets home, gets back to practicing. Back at work, she's on another Zoom call, taps the desk, bored. Her random taps turn into her practicing the chords on the desk. And so I was thinking, and I talked to my production designer friend, who you'll also meet, about if we have a desk where while she's like playing, like it can be like, solid desk, like she's like, just practicing as she's like mindlessly like practicing. And then as she's practicing, the desk starts pushing down like keys and coming back up. And then we match cut that with the piano. And I just thought that's a cool little practical way to start adding some surreal elements in before we hit the, big surreal thing. So boom, doing that. Um, then back at home, she flips back a few pages in the book, practices again. She can't quite get it. Attempts the musical phrase over and over, starting to get frustrated. At lunch the next day, she eats her food, stares down the piano. She's still determined. Back at home, she goes on the piano, starts trying to play the old sheet music, starts to learn the piece, and then, montage only in the house. Sets a metronome, practices the piece, fails over and over, gets frustrated, stops suddenly having messed up, slams the keys, sits back, frustration building, grabs metronome, slows down the speed, tries again slower, focuses key by key, chord by chord. She walks past the piano, back at work, practices the chords on the desk. Oh, this is where the desk starts to push down. Sorry. So before she's just like practicing and it doesn't push down. This is where it would push down like keys, then you match cut because this is where she's actually getting it. So she's feeling it more here. Then she's starting to play the piece fluently. Turns the metronome up, plays it up to speed, finishes and sits back. She's done it. She's ecstatic. She goes to sleep happy. Wake up, match cut. Rides the train. Starts playing the song on her leg. Gets to the place where the piano was, but it's gone. She can't believe it. Ah, okay. So here I have it during the day, actually. Like she was gonna do it before work or instead of work, maybe. We don't know. Maybe she was fine being late, which I kind of like that rather than her going to work again. And like, I mean, she could be going to work, but then she would have to pass it. It's there, but this could be cool too. She passes it, it's there, and then, she's at work and she's practicing and she's like looking at the clock, just like ready to go, maybe during lunch. But then, see, that's a lot of stuff you have to like try to communicate. Whereas if you just have it be gone right then, it's like, oh. So then maybe she could be at work afterwards and she's like sad. Yeah. And then when she leaves, she walks by the spot and piano's not there. And she doesn't know what to do. She just kind of like stares at it for a second. A lot of staring, but stares at it for a second and is like upset that like, and she just had to go back to that job she hates. Like, and she's like, you know what? And she stomps off. She's on the train. gets home. She unplugs the thing. Maybe it looks like, ooh, this could be a cool misdirection. Maybe. Okay, so maybe let me see. Mm-mm-mm, mm-mm-mm. Oh, I did kind of have this part. Ah, but here, okay. So I have this. So she's at work again. Maybe someone's talking over her, and the voices are amplified. Yeah, 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 yeah. So then, um, when she leaves work, still not there. So then back at home, so she takes it and she storms off, and we're like, dang, she gonna throw it away. And then she's on the train with the piano in her lap, and she's angry but focused. And then she gets to the spot, and she sets it up. Drags her lunch chair. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Drags her lunch chair over, so it's not. Yeah, 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 yeah. So she'll have to carry all that. Just the yeah. That's right. So she takes it and storms off. Boom. Okay. Uh, angry, still but focused. Gets to the spot, sets it up, drags her lunch chair over to the piano, sits down. Goes to play the keys and hesitates. She looks to the side. There's there's people around. She's like, oh shoot. Um, turns back, seals herself, takes a deep breath, closes her eyes, starts to play. And then as she plays, this is where the piano is introduced into the score now. So before it was no piano, now piano with the just piano, and then um strings will come in later and all that stuff. So then she starts to play, and then she goes into the liminal space, void space. She's in her own world. First time we actually hear the song is beautiful. Image looks just as beautiful. Maybe and light emits from the piano as it plays. So I also talked to the production designer about this, where it's like maybe we could hollow out a piano and put some haze in there so you can see the light beams, and the piano itself is emitting light as she plays it. I thought that would be cool visual. And as she finishes the song, comes back to reality, looks around, but no one's paying attention. Maybe one person, but I think no one should be paying attention. I think no one's paying attention. Then she smiles at herself and then goes back to play again. And then we cut to black, and then credits, and then they finish rolling. So that is the outline of the short film. So, um, what we need to do now is let me just check. Let me check everything real quick. Make sure we all good. Y'all good here. Yep. We all good here. Yep. 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 We all good here. Yep. 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 Okay. Cool. Sorry, just checking on my stuff. So let me talk a little bit about I already talked about this a little bit though. Um, I'll talk about it a little bit. So I want to talk about the thinking behind why we chose this short film, and even like while we were thinking of brainstorming ideas. I know I talked about it a little bit, but a couple more points to touch on is that a lot of people, and I did this with my first movie, like they, you get into filmmaking and storytelling because you have a story you want to tell, or you want to tell stories that are usually bigger than you can execute at the time. And so uh the trick is though to start small. And I know that doesn't sound fun. And nobody wants to hear that. And everybody says start small. Um but it's really true. And here's why. Because the first feature I made plus the second feature I made independently um, with some friends. And we started a production company and all that stuff, but made it on our own without having really been in the industry yet. And so I was just like, I want to make feature films, so I'm going to make feature films. That's what I did. And it helped to get me into the industry, I will say. But it helped to get me in as a producer, or eventual producer. It helped get me in as a PA, then an office PA, then an assistant editor, then an editor, and then as I learned the skills, eventually a producer. But I I've not yet, been paid to direct something. And so, which is why I'm doing this right now. And so, even in, deciding what shorts to make, is like we want to make sure we're executing to the highest degree that we possibly can. And with doing that, we have to start small. We have to peel things back. Like there's not going to be almost any dialogue in this. We're focused on one character. Um, this is not a one location thing, but one location is another good way to limit. But basically, you want to just focus it down to your strengths first. You want to know what things you're good at, and you want to focus on those things so that you can deliver on those things and show people and show the industry what you can do with nothing. Um, and you can do a lot more than you think with nothing. And you have more resources at your disposal than you probably think as well. But you do want to start smaller than you want to start with something achievable to the highest quality. You want to maximize the quality of this thing. And that is how you can put yourself out there as a director or editor or whatever role you're trying to do. You want to maximize those things. So for me, like I said, I'm very musically inclined and I'm an editor. So I'm thinking about this short from an edit mindset and from a music mindset. And my friend, the DP, is looking at it from the DP's mindset, and he has been a camera assistant for a long time, or assistant camera, first assistant camera. So his strengths are in the camera department in like knowing how to maximize the camera and lenses and all that stuff. Not to take anything away from his abilities to light and shape light and tell a story through light, paint with light. But we know that camera is what he's been doing for the past 5 years. Same as editing is pretty much what I've been doing for the past 5 years. So here we're leaning into our strengths and we're leaning into the resources that we have, like that keyboard. Like, well, I didn't know I had that at my house, but that could be the spark to be like, let me write a short film around this keyboard right here. So if you want to break into the industry or build your resume in the industry or build your like I don't know, aura as whatever you want to be as a director in the industry. You need to direct things, and they need to be well directed. They need to look good, and they need to be well told stories. If you're a writer, then show your prowess as a writer in there. And don't write flashy, stunts and stuff if you're not a stunt person. But if you are a stunt person, maybe you do more of a stunt focused short film. So it's all about playing to your strengths, especially at the beginning, and you want to try to supplement your weaknesses as much as you can, or avoid them altogether if you can. So, you can't completely avoid art. You can completely avoid stunts though. You can't completely avoid editing, but 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 yeah, better aura. But you want to play to your strengths, and you want to learn about your weaknesses as you are hiring out for them. Like, art is not my strong suit at all. And so I look to my friend who's a production designer to be like, hey, this is an idea I had. Is this possible? And then as she's doing it, I'm going to learn from her how she's doing it. And that's going to make me better at thinking like a production designer, even if I never want to be a production designer, and I don't. But as a director and as a producer, it'll help me think in that way and help me apply those things here. Um, so yeah. And then you also just want to like use your resources that you have. So you want to lean into the things that you have. If you have an old VHS camera or something, your parents do, like, see how you can incorporate that. Maybe see how you can make that the only camera if you have no access to other cameras. But everyone has an iPhone, and you can make an iPhone look really good. You just have to learn how. That's where you go on those other resources, and you learn about lighting, you learn about lenses and what you can put on an iPhone. There's feature films shot on iPhones. Now they use cinema level lenses, but there's ways to put those on there. And if you have the budget for certain things, you need to know where to allocate your budget and all that stuff. But when we get into pre-production stuff, we'll go there. But just in the writing stage, I want to say that you want to play to your strengths. You want to use your resources and see how you can maximize your resources to come out with the best, highest quality product to show, what you can really do with nothing. Because if you can do a lot with nothing, then people will trust you more with a little bit, and then a little bit more, and then a little bit more, and a little bit more. That's how you build your career. So now, with all that, I'm going to take a quick water break. And then we'll get into the actual writing of this thing. Isn't that exciting? Which is right here. So, which let me actually just copy and paste this over since we made a few little changes. Sure. I'll bring this in too. Yes. And I'll get into Writer Duet and all that stuff. Oh, that's really funny that I put it like that. I don't want to lay this out actually. Ooh, I could do that. And then this one. This one. So let's see. Add document. First draft. Oop, bam. Uh, yeah. That is cool. Let's get rid of this though. Yeah. I know I'm covering up a lot of the brainstorm, but we just went through that, so that's okay. All right. I will be right back. Ooh, ooh. There it is. All right. And we're back. Kurt, thanks, man. Thanks for congrats for pushing your live stream content more. Been trying to do more live streaming thing with gaming. Y'all gotta diversify. Yes, sir. That's true. It's my first time streaming. It's my first stream, obviously. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for chatting. I really appreciate it. And good luck to you with the gaming. You know, I watch a lot of gaming live streaming stuff myself, so maybe I'll come hang out on your channel. You know, but let's get back to it and let's do some writing. All right. So I also realized the chat will be over there. That's all right. We'll try to keep it as clean as possible. Like, yeah. Okay. So, let me get my background music back up and running. All right. So this portion of the stream, there's gonna be less explaining, less talky. I mean, I'll still explain, but the main thing is getting this written. That's my main focus now. So now you're gonna be watching the real work happen, and I'm gonna explain as I go as much as I can. But I'm gonna lock in here. So let's see. Make sure you can't hear this music. Okay, cool. So, all right. Let me see. All right. So, first question is, do I want a little intro scene? This is quickly gonna be longer than 10 pages, but um, do I want? Do I want? She's bored, doesn't even realize the rhythm she's working in. Sits back, takes a breath, not happy, drained from her job. Looks over to the clock, it's still ticking. There's a lot of work to do. I feel like it's a little cliche as well. Sighs, goes back to typing. It's a Zoom call, she hops on next. Nervous about speaking on it. She gets talked over and stays quiet. Goes on mute, goes back to typing. Oh, sorry, I forgot. First, before we get to writing, character work. Like I said. Okay. So let's make it a header. Boom. All right. So sorry, it's a little too loud. Okay. Um. So the character, yes. So we brainstorm here as well first. Sorry, checking my phone. All right, we brainstorm here as well first. So here's the things that I think I know about the character first. She's a woman who has been stuck in this loop. Um, she's definitely single. Doesn't have a partner. Not that that's the thing that she needs or like that's what she's looking for right now. but just background. Um, and then so what I'm doing right now too is just kind of like feeling out the character. Like, who is this person? Who do I feel like this person is? And I am keeping in mind who the actress that's going to be playing her, but also like she's an actress, so I don't have to make her her, you know. Um, but just thinking about how she might play some of these things. So yeah, so at some point she got stuck in this loop and got comfortable. And hasn't really looked up since. I think she's been in this same job for like 3 to 5 years. At first, she was working her way up and toward something, but now she's just kind of coasting, and she's just kind of coasting. She moves like a zombie through life, mildly amused in her free time. She doesn't look well rested, but puts on a convincing enough smile for other people not to really care. Um, she's good at her job, but often overlooked. She's had to. She's not as much of a fighter. If I want her to be, if if she's gonna be, she's gonna be on the shyer side. Maybe she's not as much of a fighter. Cause I was thinking like maybe she's had to fight to get to where she is. You know. Um, but I feel like maybe she hasn't fought as hard to get to where she is, but has just been patient enough in a way to get to finally get recognized. The overlooking of her definitely annoys her, but she tries not to show it. She keeps the smile up even if you can see a crack in her eyes. Which is like a great thing to show in that. But it's like, do I want to show that at the beginning? I probably do, to be honest, because it's part of the introduction of her character. But I gotta think about the vibe of how this thing starts, because it also needs to start, you know. But maybe it could come out. Maybe it could come out to like a. Okay, 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 okay. what tempo it should be at. I'll have to figure that out. I'll have to figure that out beforehand because I might want her to tap on beat. What tempo is this? Ah, I think it's a tempo finder thing. Tempo finder. Hold on. Okay, so I feel like it can be like 110. Yeah. Okay. That's something for later. Sorry. My mind jumps around. But okay. So she keeps a smile a little bit, you can see her cracking her eyes. I'm thinking about her on this call and she's like, oh yeah, call. And she's late. Maybe she's late for it, I was thinking. She's late for it. Because there's in the place where we're thinking potentially of being the office, there's these like I don't know if you've seen them in these like co-working spaces. It's like these little pods like uh like these like tiny pods where it's like you can take calls, yeah, like this. And they just look so like isolating and look crazy to me. So I was thinking about having her take a call in one of these, and yeah, I thought that'd be funny. Um, yeah, like this. And so she rushes into this little room, gets in there, and she's on the call, and she's like talking like, "Hey," da, da, da. And they ask her a question, and then as she starts to talk, someone talks over her, and uh, and that's where you know she keeps a smile, but we see it cracking her eyes, like we see a little, you know, a little thing. So that's what I was thinking about, and then I was thinking about in that scene, like when she goes to start tapping on the beat, and that could get us back into it. So it's like maybe we could start with montage, but then it's like, where do we want to start? Okay, I'm in the wrong spot. I'm in the wrong spot. Because also it is cool for. Oh, that's why I had to start in the office because I was trying to do. It's nice to have the opening image and the final image to mirror each other in a way, you know. So it's like she starts on the keyboard and she ends on the grand piano or whatever. Just a visually cool little thing. And that's a tip from Save the Cat. Okay, I'm stalling now. Okay, sorry. So then we go. All right. What else about her? So she's a person who was patient enough to just kind of float up. She was finally recognized about, you know, enough stuff. And she should be higher than she is, but she's not, you know, ruffling the feathers. And she's grateful for where she's at and all that stuff and blah, blah, blah. But like, it's not really where she wants to be. But she kind of is like, who am I to I mean, maybe she's not like this out loud, but you know, kind of like you know, I do have a good job. Like if she's talking to somebody, you know, she would be like, yeah, I have a good job and I'm very blessed, you know, type of thing. Like humble, maybe too humble. So so downplays her abilities. Why should she do that? Because She doesn't want to come off as prideful, even though she never could because of her demeanor and just who she is. Why? I hate words that have back to back vowels like that. That's crazy. Okay. Just who she is. So she could never really come off as prideful, but she doesn't want to. And so is she, because this is something that I am hyper aware of, which is how I'm perceived. Um, and I'm like, does she share this? And it's easy for me to make her share it, but does that fit for this story? This story is more about doing something for yourself, not for others. So she is a little bit performative. She is controlling how she's perceived. Yeah, it does make sense, I think. Yeah, I think it does make sense. It's like she wants to control her image, but also hates having to control her image. So maybe at home too, she could be way less like put together type of thing. Like she could be more like put together at work, but then when she gets home, she doesn't fully well, It's like would she dance around the house or something like that? Like I feel like she's more dulled, like but overall dulled because she's stuck in this loop. So she just goes home, watches whatever, goes to sleep, wakes up the next day, goes to work. On the weekends, what does she do on the weekends though? Hmm. This is also like way deeper than I need to go, but it's I mean not that I need to go, but all this stuff won't show up in the short. But it's good to know her as a character because it'll inform and also it can help inform the actress too. Um but yeah, like what's she doing on the weekends for fun? Like she's not just stuck in this loop. Like, okay, if you're stuck in a loop, you see, on the weekends you might overcompensate. So maybe she maybe she like goes and parties on the weekends. Like, you know, overcompensate for the dullness of her weekly life. Um, like she dulls her senses in a different way. Like she dulls her senses, like maybe with drugs, but also just with like loud music and stuff. And it's like she is like alone in a group of people. She still probably wouldn't like dance out in public like that if she's shy. But what's the okay? Shy is coming from my friend was thinking shy, but if she's shy, there needs to be a Y. Bars. So if she's shy, why would she be shy? This is an introverted three, like in the Enneagram three. I'm talking about. Um, introverted, introverted. If you're introverted, it's about giving your energy. So maybe she doesn't party and stuff because that would be an extroverted way. Maybe yeah. Nah, maybe she doesn't party on the weekends, but she um takes time to herself. She cleans the house. She goes to a coffee shop. She takes walks. But I think a lot of her life is spent with her mind not on the present. She's watching something, listening to something, um, thinking about something else, not feeling good about herself, but not focusing on it long enough to find out why. Yeah, she's kind of avoiding the negative emotions, I guess. She's pretending. Pretending to be okay. Okay. And this is always the fun part. Who was she as a child? I feel like I want to give her a name. Like Mackenzie was the first thing that came to mind. Which that is like a fun name. Mackenzie. Feels like a fun thing. So like that name being associated with this girl who's now like shy and stuff feels off already. Mackenzie. Okay. Also, often when I choose names, I like to go see what they mean. Usually, I do it off of ear, like if it sounds right, like I just did. Of like, this is cool because of this. This adds to the story in some way. But I also just like to see what it means. Name meaning girl. Beauty, attractiveness, being comely. Fireborn. See, that also goes against like who she is. I mean, who she's pretending to be now. You know. What does comely mean? Explain that. Pleasing in appearance, attractive or proper. Okay, sure. Bright, fair, fair one, fireborn, fiery spirit or potential. Yeah. I'm also thinking. So she has this connection to her grandma. Okay, so Mackenzie, then as a child, was energetic. Maybe danced around. Loved beautifying things. Um, had a love for music, maybe connected with her grandma on music. Her grandma maybe was a concert pianist, maybe played professionally in some regards, like in an orchestra or something. Do they have pianos? I feel like they do sometimes. Do orchestras have pianos? Yes. Okay. So maybe she played for an orchestra. Played piano for orchestra. She played professionally in some regards. She taught Mackenzie how to play. And Mackenzie loved it back then. Then, as a middle schooler, she maybe shied away from the social pressures and focused on as she got into high school, doing what was considered a good job. So she tried to fit in, and it wasn't that piano was not cool or anything, but it just wasn't focused on, so the skill died with grandma. Oh, that's so sad. So so then she goes to college, same thing, blah blah blah. Now she's in this job, doing a good job, good job, good job, good job, good job, good job, good job. She just good jobs through life, you know. Now she's here. Now she's missing something, and I think grandma was a fiery spirit who believed in free expression and would write songs all the time. Maybe the song she finds is called Mackenzie or Kinsey or whatever her nickname could have been. When I think of Mackenzie, though, I think of a redhead for some reason. And the actress is blonde. And I don't think that's a make or break. But I do wonder what making her brunette would entail. I don't know. It could be blonde Mackenzie's. Let me see. Okay, that's the last name Mackenzie. Mackenzie Roth. Okay, yeah. But see, but that is what I expect from Mackenzie. Like model Mackenzie. Um, like I need like a shy Mackenzie. But I guess yeah, yeah. See, that's what I think. That's what I think of. Interesting. Hmm. Okay. Well, the name can change, but we'll go with Mackenzie for now. So yeah, maybe the song is called her, or maybe the song is named something that represents her essence according to her grandma. Like Phoenix or something. Not Phoenix, because that feels too on the nose. I don't like it. Um, but sorry, my music stopped. Something to do with fire or something, or freedom or something thematic, but not too on the nose. Ideally, names are hard. Um, so okay, so that's how she connected with grandma. So her seeing this um song is like, well, dang, I forgot about grandma. That's crazy that I forgot about grandma. And this song really means a lot to her. I don't think it should be her name. It should be called something else. I don't know. I don't know yet. It'll come as I write, probably. Hopefully. So is that all I need? That might be all I need. That feels like a real person to me now, you know? And that's usually what I do with the character work is like, okay, here's the things I know about the character. Now let's fill in the blanks of like how the character got to be this way. Who were they? Who how they get here now and blah blah blah. Until they feel like a real person. I mean now they feel like a real person. It feels like thematically works with the story. So I feel like we can start writing now. All right. All right. Let me also copy this over here at the bottom so I can reference. Oops. Can I make this a boom? All right. Dude. Okay. Also, I'm using Writer Duet because I like it. This is the only software I've ever written on because when I first started writing, this was free, I think. But it works like Google Drive, so two people can write on the same script at the same time, and it's online, hosted, so it's not like Final Draft where you just download it. And I mean, I don't know. Final Draft may have evolved now, but at least when I was first starting, um, Final Draft would just be on your computer. So this you can access from any computer, or you can just log in. You know. So I use Writer Duet, and I love it. Sponsor me if you want to. I will sing your praises. Okay. Sorry. I guess I'm apologizing. All right. And now is where I stall again. So you can see in my writing process, there's lots of stalling. There's lots of, like, cool. All right. Finish that part. Now let's think about something else for a second. Well, let me look at you guys. Anybody talking? You got any other chats? No? No? Okay. That's cool. Let me just check check my stuff. Make sure we good. Good over here. Good over here. Good over here. One viewer. All right. That's cool though. That's exactly what I expected. Wait. Okay. Oops. Not supposed to see that. Oh, you can't. Ha. Never mind. All right. Writing time. So anything about the beginning. Let me stand up. Now it's just nice to walk around a little bit. You can still hear me? Can't see me though. Should I tilt up? I don't know. I'm just stand up for a second. I'm afraid if I tilt up, I won't be able to get the camera back where it was. So. But this is the real process. This is, look, I'm eating some chocolate, you know, snacks are good to have. Snacks are good to have. This is the real process. Outline, character work. Now we get to writing. I feel like once I get into the writing, it'll actually be pretty quick. But I'm just dreading it right now. For no reason. Interesting once I really have chatters in here. You know? No, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it yet. Stay tuned. Okay. I also just started working out. Like consistently. It's been 2 days, but consistently. And I'm sore. Even though I stretched. Like my wife told me. Before and after working out. Still stalling. Okay. This part too of writing, for some reason, for me, is like the most nerve-wracking part for some reason. Because whatever you write here feels more concrete, I think. And I don't know. I don't have good reasons. I thought I would have some good reasons, but I don't have any good reasons. Yeah. All right, let's do it. So, big question is, do we how do we start? How do we start this thing? All right, I need to visualize. I need to walk around again. I'm sorry. So we have two options right now. We can either start directly into montage, which I feel would be the most exciting way to get in. Okay, yeah, let me explore the third option I came up with a second ago. We could start with montage. She's typing. But no, we can't start with montage. Because the montage has to have passage of time. And I don't want to do a whole day of her working. Or do I? Maybe I do a whole day of her working. So maybe I do like she's at work, tapping in the rhythm. Mechanical. Then she leaves work. We can establish stuff. Then she leaves work. She walks by the piano. She rides a train. She's listening to news or talk radio, whatever. Very mundane. Okay, so now what should she be listening to? Oh, we're not there yet. See, this is where this is where I distract myself again. Because I'm like, all right, where? Oh, what is she listening to? That's something else I can figure out right now rather than writing. But um, she so she's listening to something. She should be listening. I guess she should be listening to something work related, or let me see. Or maybe it is something that's supposed to be like motivational. That's kind of funny. It's kind of cool. It's like something that's like not like so direct in that like why is my life like this and how to lead a better life, but like maybe something that's more like episode 57 of a podcast about I don't know, productivity, happiness, um ooh, I can also get ideas from this. There's this new app I started using called Imprint. Um that is like micro learning. It's supposed to help you stop being on, stop scrolling, doom scrolling, um, replace it with micro learning. So I could see, ooh, interpersonal dynamics, because like this could reveal something about her character, what she's listening to, right? Um, and what should it reveal? It should reveal because because okay, because okay, the other idea, right, would be starts off with the keyword in office, certain rhythm we establish, blah, blah, blah. She's bored, she sits back, takes a breath, and then she's like, oh, and then gets up, runs over to this little, pulls up her laptop, gets on the meeting. She's like, so sorry I'm late. And it's like, oh, Mackenzie, thanks for joining us. Um, you know, we can go ahead and jump right into your report. Yes. So when I analyzed what I found is, then she gets cut off. So I also need to vaguely figure out what her job is. Vaguely. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. But it's something to where she's like, boom, like she's giving ideas on something. Oh, okay, maybe it could be like like thank you for joining us. We're just talking about da da da. Oh yes, actually, I was just working on that. I have some. That's why I'm late. I had some good ideas about how we could, da 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 da. The first thing I was thinking was, and then someone else comes in and was like, "Oh, but what if we take like what if we take the prices da 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 da, da whatever like just like comes in over her and then she's just, and then she just gives up and she, tapping tapping and then she leaves. Yeah, I think my instinct was right. Yeah, I think my instinct was right, but I don't put the title there. I don't think I have to put the title there. I think, you know we pushing on her right there. and the tapping. Then she's leaving, and then the tapping could start up the the score maybe. So it's like, and then we cut to her walking out, and then these things are happening on beat. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And it's like the rhythm of her life. It's going in. So it gives you a little intro to like, yeah. Okay, I should start writing this down. I don't know why I don't start writing. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is at all. Interior, office, day. Why? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand. Okay, I think I need another quick break, maybe. Quick break, reset the mind. Yeah, let's do that. And this is the process, you know? It's real. We gotta we gotta reset ourselves. We gotta, you know, we gotta get back in the right mindset so that we can drill through this thing. Because I really think once I start going, I'll be good. I just need to lock in. My mind is not locked in right now. And so I need a reset so I can just lock in. And that's a nice little, you know, nice little tip. So we will be right back. are back. We have a visitor. Hold on. Let me we have a visitor. It's my dog. His name is Mishak. Mishak. Say hi. He winked. Saw that? Well, his eyes covered by but he winked. He's a good boy. You're on camera, so be good, okay? All right. Now time to write. So talked with my wife real quick. And I was trying to understand why it's so daunting to just start writing. And what we realize is that I feel like once you start writing the script, it feels like it needs to be like super um like good. It needs to be good once you start writing the script, you know? It's like the script has to be good now because it's a script. But really it's a draft of the script and anything can always be changed. So I don't need to think about it that hard, but I do in writing the script I do want to formulate the story. And so I want to make sure that I have like something that reads like a story. So it is translating it into script format at least. So, but it doesn't have to be perfect. So, we begin. Interior office day. This is so okay. Sorry. I'm all seeing it in my head. I'm trying to see it in my head. So the way I also am writing this out, I kind of like write it in the shots that we see, especially since this is all visual and not a lot, not much dialogue. So it's like, um, And also, it's like when you're writing these descriptions, it's like you want to kind of be as concise as possible. But sometimes it's hard to be concise the first time. So sometimes I just write it out and then I'll come back and make it more concise. Like there's definitely a term that will make that one line. But okay, I feel like I should play some music under this part because um I feel like I need to not talk a lot. So let me see what I can do about. See what I can do about that real quick. Hmm. These. Hmm. No. What's it sound like? Definitely not. Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I am looking for Okay. Well, let me do this then. Okay. How's this? I feel like this would be better. A little bit of music, since I feel like I'm not talking as much. Um, all right, back to it. Some music, so it's not so silent. you know. Cool. All right. So, oh, it's gonna be annoying. Sorry. So, glances up at the clock. Doesn't doesn't Zoom make like some type of boop or something? Look, this is already a page. I already know it's gonna be more than 5 pages. This is the other thing I do though. I keep looking back at like the page count and being like, oh no, it's gonna be too long, it's gonna be too long, it's gonna be too long. And it always is, but I shouldn't worry about that in this moment. Oh, sorry. Let me move the chat actually. Yeah, so you can read everything. Okay. discussing I need a name for the project or the account. Discussing the account. Bradford. We're discussing the Bradford account. Sure, Bradford. Discussing the Bradford account. Let me see. Now I need to make up a story about the Bradford account. Bradford account is some account that is always like, maybe it's always like losing money or something. I don't know. Always losing money, or maybe it's always hard to crack. Something like that. Oh. Messing up my set design. All right. Sorry, I'm not talking as much, but it's it takes the focus to do this part. Maybe that's what it is. It's like it takes more focus. But exterior. So now I go to talk about the piano. So what will I call this part? See him? Y'all see him? Upside down on the couch. Yeah, I'm talking about you. That's all he does all day. Oops. Sorry. Okay, shots by grand piano. That's right, what this podcast is. But okay, let me look at this app. Interpersonal dynamics, psychology of human relationships, central philosophy, Buddhism for the modern day, succeed in business, science of happiness. Let's see what I got. I feel like the psychology one would be something she might be interested in. How to talk to anyone is interesting. Communicate effectively. Read people like a book. Yeah, but super communicators. Elephant in the brain. What is that? Power of Us. Talking to strangers. Happiness. Hypothesis. Atlas of the Heart. Oh, nice. I feel like maybe hers would be something like super communicators or how to talk to anyone or communicate effectively. Something communication based. It's like she's trying to learn skills to be heard, you know, type of thing. But she doesn't need to be heard by anyone but herself. That's the thing. So I'll need to come back and write this part, but it's not the part I need to think about right now. Oof. Sorry. She unlocks the door to her home. Actually, no, not continuous. I like the word soundscape. I read that in a screenplay. I don't remember which one. I read that in a screenplay and I was like, I like that. Soundscape. Oh, we have more comments. I'm so sorry. I haven't been able to get the YouTube comments to pop up here yet. But David Hawkins, my father, asks, we see you thinking as you write. Would it distract your thought process to say / describe out loud what you're thinking? Nice background music. Did I make that? I did not make the background music. Background music is from Stream Beats. It's music that's supposed to be free, you know, not DMCA is what it's called, where like you can't use copyrighted music, so it's not copywritten. So it's just it's free to use. Look back there, they have different, you know, genres and stuff. So I just chose one of the albums. Yeah. So if I was to talk about what I was thinking while I'm writing, I feel like it would distract. I'm trying to talk as much as I can still. But I mean, let me try it. Let's see. So yeah, because the thing is, like, I'm imagining like singing. So let's see. So interior home, bedroom night. So now she's laying in bed with the lights off. Only light emanates from her phone, lighting her face. She's like still watching TikToks. It's really close. She has a vague smile on her face. And then match cut. Should actually be a camera thing. Match cut to interior home, bedroom, day. Because it's also like the way I'm talking is not how I need to write it. So I need to think about how it needs to be written, not how I'm saying it so much. It's the thing. So that's the tough part. But, you know, as I get better, I will get better at that probably. So let's see. Back to it. So match cut 2, she's asleep. Tapping and stop. So match cut, boom. Now she's asleep. Just her face asleep. Probably mouth open, I think. It's the only time she gets any peace, you know. Stops the alarm. Shuts her eyes. bed. Then so now like, we don't need to see her brush her teeth and all that stuff. See, I'm already 4 pages in. That's okay. The montage doesn't have to. Okay, how many times do you got a montage for it to feel like a pattern? You gotta do it 3 times. So it should go quicker. It needs to be more intensity, and then boom. But really, for today, I've run out of time on stream. So I think it's a good place to wrap it up here. I didn't get finished writing it completely, so on the next stream, which will be after New Year, we will finish up the writing of the script, and then maybe we'll talk about pre-production a little bit. We'll see. I'll make a plan for it, but yeah, I appreciate you guys. Ooh, keep doing that. I appreciate you guys joining me for the first stream for Working Title. Hope you enjoyed it. The people that were here, thanks for the people that left messages, chatted. Appreciate it. Great start. Maybe I'll real quick. I'll read through what we have, just so you can get a good feel of what we're leaving off. So, interior. Ooh. Sorry. Ooh. Okay. Interior office, shared office, day. We hear the click of clanking keys. Hold on. Stop the music. We hear the click-clacking of keys typing as we establish the small shared office. 4 employees sit at a desk pushed up against each other. A clock ticks on the wall. Dress shoes tap. A coffee mug rises to the lips of Mackenzie, late 20s. Put together, but her expressionless face looks drained. She puts the mug down, her eyes never leaving the screen. She continues typing. Her hand moves to the mouse, a series of clicks, then back to typing. The clock on the wall ticks away. Finally, Mackenzie sits back and takes a deep breath. She shakes her head slightly. She glances up at the clock. Her eyes go wide. Oh! She grabs her laptop and bolts out of the door, leaving her office mates behind. They pay her no mind. Interior office hallway continuous. She rushes around the corner and into a cramped one-person booth. She frantically sets up her laptop. She navigates to a Zoom call and fixes her hair before joining. Boop. A smile instantly appears on her face. It would look real if it weren't for her dead eyes. Office man number one. But I'll have to go back and oh, there she is. Hey, so sorry I'm late. I was just so deep in the weeds I lost track of the clock. Office man number one. No problem. We were just discussing the Breadford account and how we can increase profits without fully taking control. You know how they are. Let's do a chuckle. You know how they are. The whole call laughs, including Mackenzie. Yeah, those pesky Breadford guys. I actually have some ideas about that. Let me just find my notes. Ah, so when I was looking at their numbers, you know what I think? We should just do it for them, you know? Mackenzie freezes. Her smile remains. Her eyes harden. I mean, not to interrupt Mackenzie. No, not at all. He almost doesn't even pause for her response. But those guys are never going to learn. Sometimes you just have to take the reins and show him how it's done. You know what I mean? She maintains her smile and nods as he continues. Her fingers start to tap on the table. The tapping sound continues over the following montage as a bass rhythm that melds over the following montage. Let me see. Creating a bass rhythm that melds with the diegetic soundscape. Exterior office night. She puts in earbuds as she exits the office building. Public space night. She walks by a grand piano sitting in the light. A podcast starts to play. It's about communication. She sits on the train listening to the podcast. Home. She unlocks the door to her home and steps in. Kitchen night. Food sizzles on the stove as she stands nearby watching a TikTok. She's changed into more comfortable clothes and has her hair down. She lets out a small chuckle. Home, bedroom, night. She lays in bed with the lights off. The only light emanates from her phone, lighting her face. She has a vague smile on her face. She has a vague smile. Oh, I'm just going to period it there. Match cut to home, bedroom, day. She's asleep, mouth open, and the tapping has stopped. Beep, 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 beep. Her alarm goes off, and she wakes up reluctantly. She stops the alarm and shuts her eyes again. After a moment, she lets out a deep sigh. Let's see. And hops out of bed. The tapping starts up again. Exterior home, day. Starts up again. Faster now. Exterior home, day. She exits the house and locks the door behind her. She's now dressed up for work. She puts earbuds in. The podcast starts up. Interior train, day. She sits on the train listening. So now we're going to get into the montage and establish that and kind of go from there. So, yeah. So, like I said, it's feeling pretty good, though, I think. I think it's feeling pretty good. I can see it in my mind. I hope you guys can too. And we're going to make it real, and it's going to be really cool. So, stick with me through the process. Glad to have you guys here. Yeah, I don't need to say too much more. So catch me on the next one. I will try to put out another, post on when that will be, but it'll be after the new year. And like I said, we'll finish the script and potentially get into some pre-production. So, if you like this, follow me on Twitch or Kick or YouTube. Also have an Instagram. All the links are wherever you guys are watching right now. They're in my profile. So yeah, follow what you want to follow, and I will see you guys next time. 22 voice actors.